Welcome back, guys. We are today going to talk about endocrinology, and as you all know, those of you that have been in my class for any length of time, this one's kind of a near and dear one to me. You got to know how to treat the endocrine emergencies, and in particular, diabetic emergencies. But we're going to talk about the different ones. But let's make sure that we go over our endocrinology and make sure that we've got this down. And a lot of times, everybody kind of does some screwy things when it comes to diabetic emergencies, and it's actually kind of simple, but we'll go into it. Remember that with neurology, we were talking about fast control. Endocrinology is more about slow control, especially in relationship to that. The nervous system will activate. The problem with the neurological signal is it's quick, it's fast, and once it's done, it's done. Endocrine systems, they help. They release special chemicals, hormones that allow for long-term control of body functions. Okay, so each gland it produces one or more hormones. Okay, and it is again triggered by the neurologic system due to feedback mechanisms. But again, so endocrine glands, by the way, are ductless. They submit it right into the capillaries and the circulating blood. And a majority of the glands, by the way, are exocrine glands, which means that they release the chemicals through a duct. The endocrine glands do not do that. Again, the exocrine glands have localized effects where the endocrine glands have widespread body effects on them. So again, it usually goes, hormone is going for a very specific thing. A target tissue is what it's going for. Okay. So again, insulin is a good example. It's a target hormone, and they have many target organs, by the way, because again, it's allowing the target organ is actually the cell. It allows glucose into the cell, and through the release of hormones, the endocrine, it plays an important part in body regulation. So again, and the whole reason they do that is homeostasis, is to maintain normal, to maintain an environmental level based upon changing external conditions. And then metabolism is the cellular process that produces the energy and molecules needed for growth and repair. So there's 8 major endocrine glands, the hypothalamus, which in the pituitary, both of those are in the brain. The thyroid glands are in your throat. Parathyroids are 4 corners of the thyroid glands. The thymus, which is in the chest. The pancreas, just up underneath the liver. The adrenal glands, which are sitting on top of your kidneys. And then, of course, the gonads, which are the sexual part of procreation. And, of course, those are dependent upon, of course, male or female, which one you're going to have. So, again, there's also some organs that actually are endocrine glands. Your kidneys are, your heart is, the placenta is. A placenta is a hormonal soup. I can tell you that. And then the parts of the digestive tract are actually their own endocrine glands. The hypothalamus, again, it's in the brain. Neurons, it receives message from the autonomic nervous system. And again, as a gland cell, they produce and release hormones. Along with that, there are a lot of the control hormones. Between this and this third gland with the hypothalamus, which is the pituitary. And again, this guy is it's responsible for direct impact on the endocrine glands throughout the body. So these guys actually produce different hormones for total control of the other endocrine glands that they have. Okay, we talked about the pituitary, and again, diabetes insipidus, and I want to make sure you guys understand that there is a difference between diabetes mellitus and diabetes insipidus. Insipidus is when you have it's a disorder marked by a large volume of urine, and that's the reason is because the antidiuretic hormone secretion is not there, and that's usually a problem with the pituitary gland. Okay, and the same thing with oxytocin. It's a natural form of the drug Pitocin, and it stimulates uterine contractions, so that's why the pituitary gland is so important. It also controls the adrenal cortex. It also controls the thyroid levels. As a matter of fact, a lot of the times, guys, when we're measuring thyroid levels, especially if you got somebody on Synthroid, thyroid stimulating hormone. That's actually what the synthroid is about. And then, of course, follicle stimulating hormone is the gonads, and it triggers the sex organs. And luteinizing hormone is, again, is for is the gonads. And then your the prolactin is for the mammary glands in the woman. And then there's a sixth one that has a growth hormone, and we see a lot of this, especially when you're taking it, a human growth hormone. So, again, your thyroid gland is located in the neck, and that's what actually controls metabolism. It stimulates metabolism, cellular metabolism, and it also does a little bit of calcium control as well. Your glands that are responsible for that, it releases the generative cell metabolism. And then your calcitonin is increasing the uptake of calcium by the bones, and it inhibits the breakdown by bone tissue. Again, the parathyroids, again, increase blood calcium levels. So along with it's the antagonist to calcitonin. So basically they're working against each other when it comes to the calcium levels. Your thymus is just inside the sternum. During childhood, it secretes it's things for immunity or T lymphocytes, and stands for Thymus. And then your pancreas, of course, it's both an endocrine and an exocrine gland. But the pancreas, as far as the endocrine functions of it secretes in the islets of Langerhans. It has alpha and beta cells that actually secretes insulin and glucagon, which is used for glucose control. Oh, yay, I don't have no volume. Okay, so again, this is just kind of showing where the adrenal glands are versus the thymus glands, the pituitary gland, and of course the gonads areas down there. So that's all the endocrine system videos. So again, your pancreas, it's remember the islets of Langerhans has three things in it, but the alpha cells are usually your glucagon, your beta cells usually do the insulin. Okay. And again, so that's again with blood sugar control with that. And domatropin is actually secreted by the delta cells. Kind of a very, as far as EMS version of it, again, not really too much that it does. So again, glycogenesis is when you stimulate glucagon, stimulates the breakdown of glycogen. Glycogen is the stored up kind of super calories that breaks back down into glucose. The glucose forms non-sugar metal. And I kind of bring that up to a point because one of the emergency ways of treating diabetes when you can't get an IV and give D50 or D10 is to administer glucagon, which will actually trigger that system to work. So what it does is it squeezes, but I caution you on that because unfortunately, a lot of people actually already break that down as part of the natural process. So unfortunately, you're kind of squeezing that muscle harder than for the stores that it really might already have used up. Okay, so again, but it's that glucogenesis and glycogenesis which actually maintains a normal blood sugar in everyone. Okay, so again, if your body senses that the glucose is going up, it secretes more insulin. If the body realizes your sugar is going down, it will start that glycogenesis process to raise the blood sugars. Somatotropin, okay, this inhibits the secretion of glucagon and insulin, and it retards the nutrient absorption from the intestines. Okay, so again, plays a very small part in your diabetic care as far as the delta cells. The adrenal glands, these guys are the medulla. They behave both as nerve cells and gland cells, but they secrete catecholamines. Okay, I have made a huge deal about this since you guys started learning epinephrine or adrenaline or norepinephrine, again, neurotransmitters. But that's what that's for, is just to secrete these from the adrenal medulla. Okay, and the cortex, again, it secretes steroidal hormones. These are the ones that blood glucose levels, contributes to salt and fluid balances, and again, adrenergic, it actually does produce a small bit of testosterone and progesterone or estrogen. Okay, so it does actually. So guys, yeah, you do have estrogen in you. Sorry, hate to break that for you. All right. So your gonads, again, those are the ovary production in eggs and testes to produce the sperm. And again, it's responsible for sexual maturity and subsequent reproduction. And of course, also the ovaries are about an almond sized, and they're in the pelvis, of course, and they produce the estrogen and progesterone. That's actually what does the cycling. The estrogen is the development of the secondary female characteristics, and then the progesterone actually is for implantation of the egg. We kind of covered this back in A&P. Again, that's how birth control pills work, is they fool with these two. Okay, that's how it works. Okay, and again, the male gonads is located outside. That's for again better production of sperm. Sperm actually cannot. The 98.6, the sperm actually don't like that. So they don't like a warm environment. And again, the hormone testosterone, again, it develops a secondary male characteristic, hair growth, muscle development, in that nature. The pineal gland is in the roof of the thymus of the brain, and it affects a person's mood. So yeah, if you've got a pineal problem, yeah, they can actually have a tumor there where it does change. Now, that's a review of the A&P, and we're going to go into this one on the next video. I'll see you then.